your kind of thoughts on, I guess, the second halves of games sometimes this season. It's been weird in the sense that you've had a couple crazy, insane comebacks and then some horrible collapses. I mean, how do you kind of look at things?
Yeah, well, I don't know if it was I don't feel like we collapsed. I mean, I don't feel like we just couldn't get them stopped, and so they just got so hot. It wasn't like we just threw the ball away, and I didn't feel that. I felt like everything they were throwing up went in, and I thought it was terrific the way we did battle back, send it to overtime. We couldn't win, but certainly a disappointing half, to say the least. And you're right, we've had some other ones where we've had tremendous comebacks. But I think if you look anyone's season, I think most people over the course of a whole 30-some-odd game season, there's just big swings in college basketball. There's big swings in a game. There's big swings in a 10-minute period, a 5-minute period. And that's something that we talked a lot to our team. We did it again today, that no lead is safe. No deficit is too much until a certain point, but that point is very, very late in the game. And so we hopefully can learn to do better in those situations.
Specific to Temple then, it was not an adjustment or a scheme change by them. It was simply hot shooting in the second half that allowed them.
For the most part, just I thought we played great. I don't know if we could have played better the first half on both sides of the ball. Really, I mean, just offensively, we were about as pretty as we've been all year as far as execution, hitting the open man, moving the ball. Defensively, I think we were really on point. Even as hard as we were playing and even as well as we were on point, they still shot a pretty good percentage the first half. So I knew they were going to be tough to guard the second half. Not as hard as they were, don't get me wrong, but no, nothing changed that much. They just really, had some guys that don't usually score get really hot. That hurt us. Of course, Rose in the overtime when he scored 12 or 13. Of course, we fouled him some, late, but he was awfully good. In the zone, it kind of helped us late, and then in overtime they scored the first 2 or 3 times, so we went back to the man. No matter what we were doing, we didn't really do a good job of getting them stopped.
You talked before the game about how good Rose is and how good he has been against SMU. Is there anyone in the league you're more happy to see graduate than Quentin Rose?
I have to think about it. I know I'm happy to see him go. There's been a lot of guys over the years that you want to attend their graduation and get them a gift. I didn't realize till I saw the replay of the game his stats over his career. Pretty amazing career. I knew he was really good, and I know he's had a great career, but where he ranks in some things all time in our league, and I know it's a young league, where we 7, 8 years old, whatever we are, pretty darn impressive. And we did a great job on him here. And Emmanuel guarded great in both games, but we did get switched off. We had different matchups a lot of the time because of different things that were going on. We got switched off, and so we probably weren't as effective. And he scored in his zone, and we fouled him late. But he wasn't the only problem. He wasn't the only issue. But he's such a talent, 6'7", 6'8" guard, whatever he is. You don't find a lot of those guys.
Isaiah JC's obviously huge presence physically. Do you want him to kind of use that a little more on offense?
Well, for sure on the defensive end in that game, I thought he's been a really strong inside defensive presence for us, and that was probably his poorest game. I certainly don't want to blame the game on him. Everybody takes their share of it, but certainly I want him to be a much bigger, stronger presence on the defensive end. And on the offensive end, he had a rough night too. He missed some easy shots, so certainly not his best game. And I hope he'll bounce back strong the next game.
Ethan Shagwa played 5 minutes, didn't get a shot up. What happened to him against Temple, and what's your expectation of him or his status for Connecticut?
I think I have a feeling he's going to play very well. I think just watching him practice today, and I just think I have confidence in him. I think he's going to get on an uptick here, and I think his confidence is coming, and I think he's going to have a good stretch here. That's my best guess.
When you look at the Georgia game, East Carolina, Temple, is this something when you kind of look back at the season, those games, could be a pretty differentiating factor whether or not you guys make it to the postseason? Is that something you've thought about?
Yes, and all the games are similar, right?
Yeah. Kind of like
Although I don't know if Georgia, I can't remember. Did we get a big lead at Georgia?
We had a 5-point lead with less than a minute left.
Oh, well, that for sure. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, yeah. I mean, for sure, absolutely in that. And East Carolina game was eerily similar to this Temple game. We were great the first half. Didn't get them stopped and end up with basically a one possession game. Both of them were. So yeah, those are we're going to have to make up for those certainly. And the line is fine. It's a fine line between a win or a loss. It's a fine line between first and sixth. It's a fine line between getting into a tournament or not. So certainly those are important games, and it's something we try to sell that, there are no big games. And, I know we talked before, like, is this a big game? No, there are no big games. They're all humongous games, every one of them in NCAA basketball. They count the same, and whether it's a great win or a bad loss or a mediocre win, supposedly they're all critical.
But these games this week, they're a little bigger, right?
The next one's huge because it's our next game. Yeah, I know it sounds so boringly cliche, but really you have to get so narrow, and you have to put so much of a premium on every single game, which is part of the incredible challenge of having a great season. Is how many times can you get to the fever pitch? How many times can you do that as an athlete? How many times can you do that as a team? That's a big part of it.
I remember when you guys played Memphis, you said that's the worst time you could play an opponent after a horrible loss. But UConn's coming in, they're probably the hottest team right now in the conference. I mean,
that's a horrible one too. Yeah. Anything in between.
Yeah.
There's kind of a mid-ground. But it's funny you say that because I agree wholeheartedly. I do think after a horrible loss is not ever when you want to play someone that's got talent and character, ever. But I also know that when you see someone playing their best basketball, I think they won 3 out of the last 4. They won at Tulsa. They beat Cincinnati the other night in overtime. They're really playing well. And yeah, not a great time. But here's another thing that happens over the course of an 18-game or 16-game conference season, whatever you're in. Some nights you're going to get lucky that you catch someone on the right night, and sometimes you're just not going to be very lucky. You're catching a team completely on the wrong night. I would say, our game at Cincinnati is not the right night. They had a week off. They were completely charged, and we're just barely coming off the Memphis win. And in no way that's, why they won. I'm just saying that was bad timing. And then there's other times when you play somebody and maybe they're tired or they're down or whatever. That's the ebb and flow of a long conference season. And I would count this one as not great timing, at least on the front end.
Is there any set of circumstances that'll have you stand here in front of us and say this is the perfect time to play the next team on the schedule?
Well, I would never say it, but I would be thinking it, okay? But I don't think I would ever say it because then the other team is watching that and they go, oh, and then they're watching it right before in their pregame meal, they're watching me say, boy, is this a good time to play this team? So no, I will never be saying that.
All right, so Connecticut's 4-7 in conference, but like you said, they've won 3 of the last 4. What are they doing particularly well that's clicking for them and working effectively?
And something else I will say on them, if you look at it, they had a couple overtime losses. And this is how fine the line is. 1 point twice puts them in a completely different category. 1 point twice for us puts us in first place, and yet you're not, they're not. And it's that close. But what they're doing really well right now is the ball's going in. They're just shooting the heck out of it. And that's obviously for any team, that's formula number 1, we're making shots. Unfortunately, it's the number 1 thing you can't control. But whatever reason, their confidence is high. They're making a lot of shots, good shots, making tough shots. And when they're doing that, they're a really, really hard team to beat.
Do you see any difference in them? It's the second year with Danny Hurley as their coach. Do you see any significant differences between this year's Connecticut team and last year's?
No, it's very similar. I really, not a lot. You know, they do up front. They added one heck of a shot blocker. I mean, he's a tremendous shot blocker. So they got a lot of rim protection, a lot, and kind of like Memphis. You know, it's very similar to them in that respect, but. They always had size, even before Danny came. They had size, a lot of size last year, and they've always been guard-driven, really. Offensively, they've always been guard-driven. So, not that much difference, no. Some of the same guys that we've seen for a number of years as well. But I think they're going to finish strong. I do. I hope that we don't help that cause, but I think they're a very good team, and I think the way they're playing now, unless bad luck or whatever, I think they're going to make a run here in the last several games.